Hey everybody, it's been a minute, but we are here today with a 2019 Mustang 5.0 liter V8. This is a 10-speed automatic model, finished in this nice black with a convertible top. And let's go see how it drives. How about that, guys? So at first glance, this interior is quite nice. It's sound in here for a convertible, but obviously there's, a bit of wind noise, bit of noise from the tires that just, the refinement you get from a hard top, you obviously will never get from a convertible top. So overall, the ride quality, even on the highway around 70 miles an hour, it's smooth. It's smooth. There's definitely better visibility than, say a Camaro, which is its American competitor. They have no issues being able to see out of my rear, my sides, or anything. So as you can see, this car has lots of different buttons in its front stack here. It's definitely a little bit confusing at first when you first get in. It's definitely hard to adjust things and see things with how these buttons are set up. There's just maybe too much buttons and things are a little bit small, the writing's small. How we change the temperatures with this little dial here, but obviously I found that you can change the climate through the infotainment screen, which is a lot easier to be able to see. The steering wheel has nice feel to it. It resembles a lot of like what my 2012 Hyundai Sonatas felt like. It's kind of this rubber slash plastic material, but it feels good in your hands. As you see, we are in Sport Plus mode, so this car is really loving to have these aggressive downshifts. We'll switch that mode back to normal for now. We even have a snow and wet mode, which I accidentally just put myself into. We have normal mode, track mode, and Sport Plus. I haven't spent any time in track mode or wet, obviously, because it's not wet out. But I'd imagine that snow slash wet mode just makes it so you have less of a throttle response, keeps you in lower RPMs, and just makes it so your traction control is really having a lot of input on, your stability on the road. Found that in these settings, if you hit this Mustang button, you can also go to your track apps, which is pretty cool. You can, have your lap timer, your line lock, your brake performance, and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. So in normal mode, this 10-speed automatic, you can still definitely feel the shifts, but they're not as aggressive. I've found that if you're driving a Mustang anyways, you don't really care how the car is shifting. If it yanks you forward, it's totally fine. I think that what Mustangs do very well is they just have this American grit to them. I think that there's nothing better than having a Mustang as, like an American sports car, whether it be, the Bullet or the Shelbys or even just this Mustang GT, and hey, maybe even the EcoBoost. I wouldn't mind having a convertible top, even though summer is only a quick 2 or 3 months, and here in New England, the temperature really loves to go down and stay down for almost even like half the year, and really the top isn't very usable for most of the time, but it's not really inconvenient to have this soft top. I've found that it really doesn't impact the comfort of the interior. There's plenty of headspace for me at 5'10", and it doesn't really make a lot of noise. As long as it doesn't end up leaking on you at some point, just get the soft top and enjoy it during the summer, even if you're here in New England. So while we're in traffic, let's talk about the interior. So this interior is actually pretty decently nice. There's definitely some hard plastic up here, obviously, and these panels kind of feel like they need to be tightened a little bit, but overall I think it's very nice in here. This car comes with heat, so this is the Mustang GT Premium Automatic. It comes with heated seats, cooled seats, a heated steering wheel, dual zone climate control. We have our Bluetooth that I've figured out, and the speakers sound very nice. overall, this is a car that's really nice to be in. For a coupe, there's plenty of room for me and my other passenger. There's plenty of room for me to be able to stretch my legs out if I'm on a long drive, and the ride quality is great. You don't feel bumps too bad. Obviously, the suspension's a little bit stiffer, this being a sports car. Tires in the suspension are able to absorb pretty much all the little small bumps. Although if there's a bigger, you know, say a pothole or something, or a big bump, you definitely will feel it in this car. So I put it into Sport Plus. I'll let the car talk a little bit instead of me. Even with the windows up, this V8 just sounds phenomenal. I have been around a lot of Mustangs. I've never obviously driven one like I mentioned before, but I just love the sound of a V8, especially the Mustangs. They do such a nice job in crafting the exhaust note to not be too loud and not be too quiet too. I believe these Mustang GTs have a $1,000 option for a valved exhaust, which I would highly recommend for anyone looking to buy a Mustang GT. Get the valved exhaust, because, you know, then in your neighborhood you can quiet it down. I won't go too quick, but obviously you can see that this 10-speed automatic does a great job at shifting down, getting me in the right RPMs when I hit the gas pedal, and just really getting you to a good power band. As you can see, there's also paddle shifters here, but they're really hidden behind the steering wheel. I would have liked them a little bit bigger, but they do have a plastic material to them. I don't think they feel as good as even my Elantra N lines, but given this car is 2 years older than my Elantra, so obviously day to day I live with the car with a dual clutch transmission. And just some contrast from here and then this 10-speed automatic. So my Elantra N-Line has a 7-speed dual clutch. This car has a 10-speed automatic. I feel as if the dual clutch is obviously a bit quicker. This car could definitely benefit from a dual clutch, but with that being said, I don't think you lose torque for all that much time. I think the automatic does a great job of keeping you in the right gear, giving you torque when you need torque, and just being able to control the power band. So although we have the 10-speed automatic, this car also comes with a 6-speed manual. I haven't gotten to drive a manual one, obviously, but I'm sure it's just as great as this 10-speed automatic is. And I would recommend either to people. I mean, not everybody loves manual transmission cars, I get it. Especially if it's your only car, it might be hard for you to be able to commute to work in traffic in a manual car. So I would recommend having a manual as your sports car and have an automatic or a dual clutch as your daily driver to just ease things out and also save the manuals. I will tell you guys right now, I have pretty bad back problems just because I was rear-ended a couple years ago. It wasn't a crazy accident, but it's definitely left me with some back troubles. And I'll tell you right now that this seat is so comfortable. It doesn't hold you in all that well. I think it could maybe use a little bit more side bolstering. But overall, I think it does a nice job at keeping you comfortable. Obviously, we see some cops here, so we'll try not to get ourselves a ticket in somebody else's car. As I was saying, these, can't tell if they're leather or leatherette. I'd imagine that they're leatherette, but they're perforated leatherette seats with heated and cooled features, which both work great. Any sort of comfort feature is here in this Mustang GT, so you really don't have to compromise in your sports car nowadays. You can get features such as heated seats, heated steering wheel, remote start, cooled seats even on a nice summer day. Open the convertible top up and just enjoy yourself. There's definitely a lot of grit to this 10-speed automatic when you have it in Sport Plus mode. It really wants to upshift and downshift as aggressively and as quickly as possible, which makes for a lot less time in your torque loss, but definitely can be a bit jerky to your passengers. Obviously, you'll be expecting those shifts a lot more than they will be. But who cares? This is a Mustang. This is American muscle at its finest, everybody. This is what, honestly, a lot of people strive for in their lives, is to own a Mustang, own a Corvette, own a Camaro. I think that Ford does a nice job at competing in this ever-increasing sports car market, and this Mustang is no less than its predecessors and will keep up with a lot of cars at this price point. And I get it, the interior might not be as refined as a BMW or a Mercedes or a Porsche or an Audi, but for the amount of power you get for roughly around high 30s, low 40s, $1,000 US, this is a great deal. I mean, you get 460 horsepower from a naturally aspirated V8, where V8s in the car market are just, you know, ever decreasing. I mean, there's only a couple really good ones left. So my advice for anyone who's looking for a sports car in the $30,000 to $40,000 range, definitely check out a Mustang GT. You could buy one pre-owned and it'd be quite reliable for you. I mean, this one has 40,000 miles on it, just about, and it drives wonderfully. Definitely recommend that if people are shopping for a Mustang GT, get the premium with these added features. They'll definitely make your life a lot more pleasing with being able to drive this thing, especially on a daily basis. Also, test drive the manual and the automatic and just see which one you like better. My one major criticism for these Mustangs is they could be a little bit more refined. It seems like they're not as tight together as they should be, especially like these interior pieces. But for any Mustang I've ever been in, this one's definitely up there in quality. And I'd say that for the amount of power you get, who cares? I mean, it's super comfortable. It's not super loud in here, even at highway speeds. And overall, it just rides very, very nicely. So thank you guys for watching this video. I really had a pleasure being able to drive this car. Thank you to John on Turo out of New Hampshire. Thank you to John out of Turo in New Hampshire for letting me drive this Mustang. I rented it, full disclosure. He's not sponsoring me or anything, but he was an incredible host. So if you're in the area, please rent from him. He has some great vehicles, including a BMW 2 Series. I saw a Jeep Wrangler on there, and obviously this Mustang GT Premium. Please like, please subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram at auto_Joe, I believe. Have a good rest of your day, everybody.